And welcome back, Corn Dog Faithful, to Catching Up with the Corn Dogs. I'm Andrew Mild, and on this episode, I sat down with Jacob Ferry, who was last year's All-Star Game MVP. And for those who have never watched maybe the Midwest Collegiate League, now the Northern League, and some of the talent it offers, Ferry gives you an insight what it's going to be like in the summer in Crown Point. And if you want to see more of Catching Up with the Corn Dogs, go over to the YouTube page and like and subscribe so then you can get notifications whenever there are new videos coming from the Lake County Corn Dogs. And also these videos will also be put up on the Corn Dogs website. And with that, let's send it over to the interview with Jacob Ferry. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the Lake County Baseball Podcast. I'm Andrew Mild, and joining me on today's episode is outfielder Jacob Ferry. Jake, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
First question I have to ask is, this is your second year in the league. Last year's Midwest Collegiate. Now it's the Northern League. What was that experience like last year?
Last year, I just had a lot of fun. I mean, I just went out and had fun every single day that I played. The league was really fun. I had a good time. I had a great experience playing with a bunch of guys that I hadn't known, getting to meet new people and getting to meet people on other teams that I was playing as well. And overall, I just had a lot of fun, and it was a blast for me.
Now, for people who haven't seen the competition yet in this league, can you kind of explain how good the competition really is?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely very competitive. There's a lot of good guys from all sorts of different schools. I think it also kind of brings out like the competitive edge of everyone else too. It kind of elevates everyone else's game when you see other guys doing certain things on and off the field. You kind of want to match up and play to that level or even better.
Well, you were talking about how you had so much fun last year, and I guess it would be fun if you won the All-Star Game MVP. What was your goal going into that All-Star Game? Was it to win the MVP? Was it to get a hit? Or what was going on in your mind going into that game?
Honestly, my goal was never really to win it at all. It was just to kind of go out there and do the best that I can. I had a bunch of friends and family in the stands. I just wanted to go out and try to play as best as I could for them and hope to put on a good show. And then one thing led to another, and I ended up having a really good game. So it all just kind of worked out.
Were you shocked when you won it?
I mean, by the end of the game, I wasn't really surprised, but it was definitely exciting for me. I wasn't really expecting it going into it, but.
So the next question I have to ask is, you being a lefty hitter, is there an MLB player that you tried to emulate at the plate?
Honestly, not really too much. I mean, obviously, I've always like looked up to certain players that I like watching and seeing what they do. But when I'm playing, I always just kind of try to be myself and do my own thing up there, and not really try to go and be someone that I'm not or be someone else.
Good answer. I that's a good answer. I do appreciate that. So I have to say I'm impressed. I looked you up on Twitter. I was going through some videos, and a couple of years ago, you hit a home run at Ozinga Field, the home of the Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
And I have to say something that's impressive, because I've seen grown men who play in the minor leagues who couldn't hit a ball out of that ballpark. Did you know that place was very pitcher friendly going in?
Really?
Yeah. Did you?
No,
you didn't know?
I actually did not. I did not know that at all. That was actually my junior year of high school. We were playing in the regional championship game that day.
Do you remember what pitch it was and how far you drove it?
I believe it was a fastball. I'm not entirely sure how far it went. Some of my teammates claimed that it went over the scoreboard. I'm not sure if it actually went that far or not, but
yeah, I worked for the Bolts, and the thing is, when they went in the batting practice and they'd hit and they couldn't drive it out, they would always say they got Ozinga'd. So when I saw you hit a home run when you were in high school, I was impressed. I was like, this kid's got some serious power. I can't wait for him to showcase it in the summertime for Lake County. So you finished your freshman year at Morehead State. What was something you wanted to work on after the season had ended?
I think the biggest thing for me was just trying to gain some confidence and some comfortability in knowing that like I could confidently play at the level that I'm at and just kind of try to have more fun and also just kind of some like more simple baseball stuff, like just like approach stuff at the plate, working on hitting the ball the other way. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, like I always want to try to have as much fun as I can while I'm playing. And sometimes you let pressure and other circumstances kind of get in your head. It kind of messes with you. So the biggest thing for me, like after last year and going into the summer, was just trying to have as much fun as I can and just try to let loose.
So the next question I have to ask is, what's the greatest piece of hitting advice you've ever received?
Hmm. Huh. That's a tough one. I mean, the biggest thing for me is like, sure, you could get into mechanics and all that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, when you're actually in the box hitting, like the one thing I've always been told is to just forget, pretty much forget everything that you've been taught. Just go in there and try to hit the ball. Just see and hit the ball. Just try to keep it as simple as you can and don't try to do too much, and the rest will kind of take care of itself.
Yeah, you know what? I've been reading this book called The Baseball 100, and they just talked about how Mike Schmidt would do the same thing. He's very
Hmm.
mechanical, always thinking at the plate. And then once he eliminated that out of his mind, he hit 4 home runs
Yeah.
in one game against the
Yeah.
Cubs, unfortunately, as a fan. But all right, we're gonna move on to some more fun questions. I could try to get to know you more as the person, not the ball
Okay.
player. Besides baseball, what is another favorite sport of yours?
Another favorite sport, I would definitely probably say football.
Football?
I mean, for me personally, I've always been really into college football, honestly, even more than the NFL. I mean, for me, I would say football is probably the most exciting sport for me to watch.
And I have to ask then, what's the favorite college football team?
Notre Dame.
Notre. Oh, good choice. Okay, I'm on the same
Yeah.
boat. They play in a couple of
Okay.
days. I'm excited for them to play Oklahoma State,
Oh yeah, New Year's Day. That should be a great game.
and then Freeman taking over as head coach. It should be an exciting time for Notre Dame fans for the transition from one coach to another.
Oh yeah, definitely. It seems like a lot of guys are really on his side with everything and seem to really like him. So I think it should be exciting.
So if you did play football, say there's an alternate universe and you didn't play baseball
Okay.
and you play football, what position would you play?
Probably wide receiver if I could.
Wide receiver? Okay.
Hmm.
And would you be like a Randy Moss type guy trying to jump over people and make these exciting plays or
Oh yeah, I would I would definitely try to if I could. I mean, I think that would definitely be the goal. Make some sweet catches, jumping over people.
do the one-handed snags and then
Oh
moon Green Bay Packer fans in the end zone? All
yeah.
right, so I got one more question for you, and I kind of led you into this one before we started. But if you were a car, what car would you be and why?
Hmm. If I were a car, I would definitely probably say like the be some like a big truck of some sort, just because usually when I see them on the road, they're always like really big and intimidating, and you're always kind of like wondering like who's inside, like what kind of person it is, like stuff like that. Like I feel like it's more of just like an intimidation factor when you see something like that rolling down the road.
Okay, I don't know why, but I thought you were gonna say a Beetle, and I was like, I don't think that would fit you personally. But truck's a good answer. You can never go
Yeah.
wrong with saying a truck. So that's all the questions I have for you. So is there any message you want to give to the fans to conclude this episode?
I would say for the first season of the Lake County Summer Team, I'm gonna say that we should hopefully have a really good team, and we're gonna try to put on a good show for the fans every single night, and hopefully do our best to try to win the league.
Yeah, I mean, you fell just short last year, so hopefully
Yeah,
this year Lake County can get you that championship. So
yeah, for
I, I
sure.
want I want to thank you for joining me today. It was enjoyable. I had a blast with you. And you can meet all the other Lake County baseball players on this YouTube page here on the splash page of the Lake County baseball team. And we see you next time on the Lake County Baseball Podcast.